Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1984 Dodge Aries Wagon. Up front is a 2.6 liter inline 4, and down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Dodge Aries here today because this was a K car from the 80s. I love K cars. I love this era of cars. And this is a white one with the wood paneling down the side and the red interior, which is my, I don't want to say dream spec, but if I were to pick one up, I would probably pick one up like this. So I'm excited to share this one with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.6 liter inline 4 under the hood. Well, that's actually built and designed by Mitsubishi. So the Diamond Star Motors relationship goes back way further than the Eclipse and Eagle Talon. When the Chrysler Corporation needed small, efficient engines, they turned to a couple of people. Mitsubishi being one of them. Also, the very original Dodge Omni came with a 1.7 liter from Volkswagen, but this was from Mitsubishi, and a lot of people didn't like that. This car was very heavily criticized because the engine compartment actually literally says Mitsubishi on it, and people that wanted to buy American, that had bought American for decades and decades and decades, didn't want Mitsubishi on that engine, but that's how they were sold. Now, I have to say this particular engine in this particular car is from a 1982. However, it is the correct engine, just swapped in from a different car. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 3-speed automatic. Again, this has been swapped with a LeBaron transmission. It's basically the same one, but these 3 speeds were not the most reliable on planet Earth, and so sometimes they go out, and if you want to keep your car on the road, sometimes you gotta swap it. Last but not least about the drivetrain of the Dodge Aries, it is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive a Dodge Aries wagon? Well, this one has a Weber carburetor on it, so it actually is a lot more spry than the traditional or original or untouched Dodge Aries. That being said, it's not a rocket ship. The Weber carb doesn't fix every sin of this vehicle, and so it's still kind of a lazy drive. The body's kind of rolly. It's not very precise, but I could give you a little something here. Yeah, I mean, it drives in a straight line for the most part, but you're not really wowing anyone with these. These cars were economy cars. They were meant to be affordable. They were meant to be pumped out by the millions. And so that's what this car was good at. Straight line speed, less so. Visibility is good though. We have really thin A-pillars. Love to see that. And overall, I don't mind driving. I like driving these. They're just not very athletic. It's like me running a relay race. Probably not who I want on the team, but I'll do it. It's not gonna be pretty, if that makes any sense. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of gauges as well as very obvious warning lights. So off to the left, we get warning lights for belts and brake and high beams and turn signals and whatnot. These are very out in the open. Nowadays, warning lights are hidden, but back in the day, they showed you what could go wrong. So very interesting there. But we do have our speedometer off to the left, and then we have fuel, coolant temperature, and battery voltage off to the right. The steering wheel doesn't have anything except for the horn buttons on it, which still work. Love to see that. But really low slung grips here, kind of a more cruiser feeling, and of course it is red with that jewel of a Dodge badge looking back at me. Off to the left, we do have a climate vent as well as our headlight switch. And moving onto the door, we have some wood paneling, latch to get in and out, and crank for the windows. Moving into the center, we get the Chrysler radio. We do have some treble and bass adjustments. That's pretty much it. Nothing really to note here, but cool to see that for sure. And down below, we get our climate controls. This did have AC. This was a original factory AC car, and we get a nice Aries badge off to the right. We do have an ashtray and cigarette lighter, however, no native cup holder here in the Aries, so unfortunately, yet semi-predictably, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now I know what you all want to see, and that is the red bench seat. I love it. It is as comfortable as it looks on camera. You sink into them, and I love to see this because this is when economy cars didn't punish your back for not having a big enough wallet. I could sit in here and drive one of these in a comfortable way for hours and hours and hours. I can't say that about the new Sentra. I can't say that about the Mitsubishi Mirage. I can't say that about the final generation Ford Focus. But back in the day, they didn't compromise on seat quality. They compromised on many other things, but not seat quality. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Dodge Aries Wagon, and a couple of things to note. First of all, it's not awful back here, but it's also not super spacious. Whatever Buick Roadmaster idea you have in your head because this is a wagon, get it out of your head. This is not that. It is comfortable though. The seats are still comfortable. I like that a lot. The red carries on back here. I mean, this is just so 80s. And I love to see that. And of course, we have tiny little ashtrays in the doors. But one big thing is that this actually has a roll down back window. I know that might sound trivial. Okay, I take that back. This particular one does not want to roll down, and I don't want to force it. But the 1981 Plymouth Reliant K-Car wagon did not have roll down back windows. This does, so that is a huge improvement, although this particular one doesn't want to roll down. It came with them from the factory, so I think that's worth noting. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at that extended cargo space for the wagon, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Dodge Aries wagon. Grab it here. I already unlocked it. Gotta help it up a little bit, but here we are around the back. Nothing really too crazy right home about. This one does not have a pop-up third row. The Aries was too small for that, although other wagons of the era would get that. This particularly doesn't. You could lift this up, you get a big plastic panel down here. Spare tire, things like that, but overall, very simple and basic, but tons of rear space. So if you had to carry stuff, if you had a little business back in the day, you could definitely do that here with the Dodge Aries. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and of course this was finished with fake wood paneling. You gotta love it. And this is just so iconically K-Car and 80s and Lee Iacocca and Chrysler and America. So I love to see that. This is the final year for this particular body style. I have reviewed an 87 Dodge Aries, and so you could see that was a little bit curvier, if you could believe it. So kind of interesting to see the contrast between them. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Dodge Aries wagon? Well, I wouldn't have done this if I didn't like the car. I've already done a facelift, updated, more modern 87 Dodge Aries wagon. Did I need to do this video? No. But A, I wanted to show you this great color combo with the interior and all of that stuff. But also, I like these cars because they're very simple, they're very basic, and they're very forthcoming with their priorities. Build quality was not a priority in this car, but it doesn't feel like they're trying to pull the wool over my eyes and say, no, this is a Rolls Royce. This is the best build quality you ever done seen. No, they're like, hey, you need a car for cheap? We'll build you a cheap car. We won't make you feel like you're scraping the bottom of a bucket with a spork, but you know, it's not going to be a Mercedes-Benz, and I like that. There's just something so honest about this car, which I understand is an oxymoron because it literally has fake wood down the side of it, and in the interior it's pretending to have wood and it doesn't. But besides this particular color scheme, like the driving characteristics, the materials, the feeling, the engine, it all feels very honest and upfront, and I guess it just feels simple, and that's what I really like about it. That's what I love about K-Cars, is that they're just what they are and nothing else. They're so truthful, they leave Mitsubishi on the valve cover. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna hide that we didn't build this thing. Mitsubishi did it. They did a good job. Here it is. Here's their information. It might as well have been a business card up under the hood. So I like that. I like cars like this, and I just wanted to show you this particular one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Aaron for letting me borrow his Dodge Aries wagon for today's video to review. Aaron has been wonderful. I've reviewed so many of his cars before, and I'm sure so many more in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.